We got beat because the Republicans and the conservatives built a different media system that had to do with online, had to do with podcasts, had to do with streaming platforms. We were laughing at them and knocking on doors in Philadelphia and Detroit. It's like, there's no Trump people. They're not dropping literature. They're not knocking on doors.
In fact, it was laughing like, oh, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk with their PACs don't know what they're doing.
We were making fun of Donald Trump for having thrown away his ground game and doing some weird stuff online. We thought that they were idiots. It turned out we were the idiots. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phones into 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. And so we got outflanked, outplayed, outbeat by people who told us the whole time that they knew what they were doing.
I mean, I'm surprised that they are so surprised that that kind of campaigning worked. Like, I suppose on one level I'm not surprised because I did see the Harris campaign and how bad it was. I just thought everybody understood at this point, like, the power of the internet, independent media. You know, I'm just surprised how out of touch they continue to be into this campaign, that even when they saw Trump doing what he was doing, that they didn't understand how genius that was, that they didn't understand how powerful that was. They still apparently laughed and dismissed it. I mean, I think it's great that they're self-reflecting, that these people on here are self-reflecting the way that they are, and that they're, you know, really analyzing it. I think that the next election is going to be so different and, you know, very, very interesting. Obviously, this is kind of dawning on more people now that the media, the kind of mainstream media, has really lost a lot of its power. But have a look at this, because some people are still digging their heels in.
Whether it is the economy, immigration, or, for lack of a better term, wokeism, we have now let misinformation become the accepted information. It has washed over us. Elon Musk, he buys Twitter, and then he uses it almost exclusively to be a propaganda machine. And we've accepted it. We've accepted a narrative that despite an actually great economic recovery, the vibes don't feel good.
Again, it's just, you know, put the fingers in the ears and ignore what you're seeing before your very eyes, and just create a narrative that suits you. You know, this thing of trying to call X a propaganda machine. Like, the irony that she's sitting on mainstream television saying that is just crazy. I mean, it's the theme of the Democrats this season, where it's just accuse others of what you're doing yourself. But I mean, the way she's talking, just so self-righteous and judgmental, and, you know, really just so out of touch. The shame is that she doesn't understand that when she says that, she's not achieving what she wants to achieve. You know, she's alienating herself from the everyday person, and she's alienating her party from everyday people. So she's actually not achieving the goal out of this, the overall goal that she's intending.
We've accepted a narrative that despite an actually great economic recovery, the vibes don't feel good. So we want to reject it and get something else.
It's just so disconnected. And again, it's that thing of kind of just belittling people, you know, belittling people for their choices, which it just, have they not learned by this point that it doesn't work, you know, that it just does not work. I find it offensive, the way that she kind of just tries to like play off like the economy situation, the economy concerns as just the vibes aren't good, you know. I can deduct from this that she makes a good wage. And I just find it extremely offensive when people who are very well off don't ever think about the concept that people outside of their bubble might be experiencing something different, especially the fact that like the world has clearly said that they're experiencing something different and that they have concerns. So instead of just being so dismissive, she could understand that for the average person, for the majority of people who just earn a normal living, the economy has become crushing. Someone like her is so insensitive to that experience. And from Trump's campaign, you saw that sensitivity, you felt that understanding, you felt that sympathy. And that's why it's one of the reasons why people are so drawn to Trump's side. And she just doesn't understand that. And, she's so engulfed in her own bubble. It does annoy me because, I think that there are people who live with a certain amount of wealth and they own their own property or properties, and in the last few years inflation has just meant for them that their assets have increased in value tremendously. Their homes are worth millions, and their stocks have gone up and up and up, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's great for you, but for the average person this has just been completely stifling. It leaves people really, really struggling to get by.
Person we are now betting on to change all of it is Donald Trump, a man who did two almost impossible things. He won the American presidency twice, and he drove a casino into the ground. What will the future hold now that America has just decided that we're going to F around and find out?
I just can't wait till she's proven wrong. And I think the reason people voted for him is because they're confident that he will prove her wrong. So we'll just wait. We'll just give her time on that one. So a couple more things on the Democrats' reactions. We've got Biden. He was so happy. He just seemed so chipper.
Thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you. It's good to see you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world.
It was really lovely to see him in just such good form, but also he seemed to have a lot of mental clarity. And in the comments, people were like, what's going on? This is the most clear I've seen him. He spoke better than we've seen him speak in months and months. You could see it in his eyes. People were like, has he been drugged up for the last few months? It was really, really strange, but lovely thing to see. And finally, we're seeing obviously videos and comments all over social media of people who voted for Harris who are just having meltdowns, who are really scared. I know some people are having fun with it, but honestly, I actually feel sad. I feel sorry for the people who really, really bought into the things that she and her party were saying. It was morally wrong what they did. The way that they lied just blatantly over and over about calling Trump a fascist, Hitler, a Hitler supporter, a dictator, to be a Nazi, his followers being like Nazis, all of this stuff. As wrong as that was to do all of that to Trump and his followers, including of course the garbage comments and the weak women comments, those were all really wrong to do against the Republicans. But in my opinion, the way that they hurt their own followers by doing that is even worse. There are examples of people who genuinely believe that he is the next Hitler. And put yourself in their shoes now. If they've believed everything that the Democrats have told them about Trump and his followers, there are people talking about trying to get out of the country because they believe that they're going to end up in a detainment camp. That's predictable that would happen. That many people I'm sure, would actually believe what you're telling them And, you know, can you imagine the horror if you truly believe that the next Hitler has just been elected president of the USA? Like, it's just the fear mongering on that level. It's so wrong. They don't care. They don't care about the emotional impact of lying to them like that. You know, they don't care about the emotional turmoil, the mental distress of lying to their supporters and their voters in that way. The next few years is a great opportunity for the Republican Party to prove itself as, you know, hopefully they can really, really do good things for America. Understand that these people are, unfortunately, they are brainwashed, and they suffer a lot for it, you know? Like, of everyone, they're the greatest victims in that scenario. So